All right, everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm coming at you live from the Garden State of New Jersey. I'm the Yankee nerd, and today we're going to be talking about the CBA. Yep, the what was it? Combined bargaining agreement. So a lot of people are talking about this just because now it's coming up. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit last year because it was kind of in the rear view. It still is because we have a whole season of baseball to play before we get to this. But a lot of stuff has already happened at the end of last year and now going into this year. So we're going to go over it right now. So the CBA. Well, what is the CBA? Well, if you guys don't know, it's the when the Players Association and the owners come together to make an agreement on how money is given out, or just how the game of baseball, how the rules of baseball, but mainly the money side of baseball, how it's given out, if it's even between the players and the owners. There are CBAs in every league, and it's widely known that the baseball MLB has the best players union. So because for the most part, we've had, or I'm saying we as in, I play baseball. I don't play baseball. I watch it, but I don't play it. Um, for the most part, baseball has had. They immediately got him out of there, and I mean, like no one knows if it's his wife's sister or if it's his like brother's sister, or no, I'm sorry, brother's wife's sister, because both would be his sister-in-law. Look, I'm not gonna get into the details here. He's gone. Okay. I want to get into the details of how we could have sort of a salary cap system without having these hard salary cap. Because most of the time, look, a lot of people who have hard cap sports, they aren't. There still are teams that just kind of don't try, just because they had the revenue sharing. So, what could we do? Well, we could do a semi-apron system, kind of like how the NBA does it. So pretty much, if you go over the luxury tax, um, there will be penalties given on you other than just fines, since a lot of teams now, or some of the more richer teams, the teams that will actually go over the Cohen tax, it would be the teams that would be going over the Cohen tax are the teams that could spend, $1 billion on their baseball team. So to decentivize people from going over that, or if they do want to go over that, look, this is what they're gonna have to do. These are the penalties they're gonna have to face. Well, probably no trade, no international free agent money, and no picking up waiver signings. Those probably have to be enforced for the teams that will go over the Cohen tax. And look, it sucks, but that's what we have to do. Okay, and then probably some other stuff that will be employed. The revenue sharing, yes, but the revenue sharing would be given more revenue towards the teams with the smaller markets compared to the teams with the bigger markets. So the revenue sharing for, let's say, like the like Pittsburgh Pirates, per se, right? The Pittsburgh Pirates will probably get more revenue sharing, or a bigger percent of the revenue sharing compared to the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Mets, just because overall those franchises are successful enough, and they, for the most part, don't even need the revenue sharing to survive. Next up is TV. TV is a big heated thing about baseball just because it would add a lot more money to the game. The thing is that a lot of teams, they wouldn't want to give up their TV deals. Specifically the Dodgers, which have a phenomenal TV deal. They don't even own the network, but they have a great deal, and this is in place for another like 20 years or something. So the Dodgers are getting like infinite money glitched from the TV providers. Yankees obviously don't want to give up Yes. The Red Sox, they don't want to give up Nesson. And so, well, I mean, the Mets don't own SNY, or Stephen Cohen doesn't own SNY, but the Wilpons still own SNY. But either way, and there is a big discrepancy between some of the teams that with good TV deals and bad TV deals. Overall, I think that if you get them all organized into one big package that you could probably buy on like MLB Network or something, or be split up between all these different other things, like Amazon, Netflix, Peacock, Apple TV, and stuff like that. And then obviously you could either just watch the games on there or whatever games they show on there, and then you could either buy the MLB network package, which comes with all the teams, and hopefully no blackouts because blackouts are disgusting. Then that will add more revenue to the towards the system of revenue sharing of the pot, and you could give more money to the lesser teams. And even though the bigger teams will be receiving less money, less percent, there will probably still be more money in general, just because there's just more money to give. Next up is deferrals. So contracts are very, very, very tight right now. In terms of, there are the smart contractors, and then there's the Yankees. So the Dodgers have pretty much infinite money glitched their way out of their paying players. And a lot of the times, this has been just a common thing in just the players association, or just among players in general, where deferrals equals bad. Like, you don't want your money deferred. But a lot of them now, because of Shohei Ohtani, they want to be with the Dodgers, and they think like, oh, deferring money isn't that bad, right? The thing is that you defer money to the wrong people because, or I mean, look, this isn't like you're doing, the Dodgers aren't doing anything wrong by doing this. They're just playing by the rules, but the rules are kind of, slightly tilted in their favor, just because Guggenheim Partners, the people who own the Dodgers, is an investment firm. So what happens is they take the money that they didn't pay the player. So let's say a player gets $20 million, $10 million of that's deferred. Well, they take the deferred money, the $10 million that they didn't pay the player, and they'll invest it. And so they're making money on that investment. And by the time it's done, not only will the money that the player receives be worth less, they have also made it turn a profit from deferring the money. So the player, while for the most part, it doesn't really matter to the player. Most of the players' contracts on the Dodgers have some money deferred. Maybe not a lot, but some money. I can guarantee it to you, 112%, or your money back. Okay, literally. And so what the players probably think is that they'll be collecting the money from the team in probably like a state with no taxes, and so like, oh, I won't get taxed on this money, or like no income tax. But at the same time, overall, your money is worth less, even though it still is a lot of money. So the solution to this is probably taking a percentage of deferrals, or you can only defer a certain percent of a player's contract. So if you have like a 30% thresh limit, maybe even less, maybe let's do like we get half it in 15, maybe we can go up to 20% of a player's total contract could be deferred overall, then that would be pretty good. I would like that a lot, because just it makes things more even for players, and the players are kind of getting swooned by just, they want to win a championship with the Dodgers, because a lot of these players, they're not investors, they're not like money people. They just want to, I mean, obviously they have agents for that, but at the same time, like, they want to be with the Dodgers. Dodgers are probably going to pay them the most money either way. And so what if some of that money gets deferred? They're still getting it at some point, right? So those are like the big three solutions that I have towards this. And I think this would kind of even out the playing field while not adding a hard cap to baseball, because if you had a hard cap such as football, we start getting into very muddy territory, and football for the most part has probably the worst CBA and union for the players. It's very owner-centric in football. Just for example, in football, they normally have the player charts, not charts, what's it called? The player polls, for at the end of every season. And so what happens at the end of every season is there's just a bunch of stuff that gets pulled. A lot of players, they put in whatever. And a lot of these is like, what's the best organization to play for? What's the worst organization to play for? What's the best training facility? What's the worst training facility? And they just go over it in the player polls. And they recently, the owners were like, we don't like how our team seat looks in the player polls. Like, I don't like how my training facility is the worst. Shouldn't that, and number one, shouldn't that just be like a heads up? Hey, increase your training facility. It sucks. Get better. But no, they were like, oh no, we hate how it looks. Oh my God. So they filed like a grievance against the Player Association, and they won. The owners won. So pretty much the player polls can't be public anymore. So no one the public can't see it, but while the players still could pretty much. But that's just like one asset of it. And so there's just a bunch of other stuff that other leagues have or don't have, and that the MLB does have. It is very, very different over here in the MLB, and it's probably not going to be that for very long. I will guarantee the way the payment works, the way teams are constructed, the way payrolls are constructed will be very different by the time this 2027 season starts. But for this season, look, we got we have the cameras now, and we have the call outs, whatever the challenges on balls and strikes. And I'm not sure if we could still we need to have a challenge on fair and foul balls. I'm surprised we're getting ball and strikes before fair and foul balls. That just needs to be like, there should be a sensor or something on the foul pole or along like the under the grass of a field. I don't know how you would do it, but there needs to be something, because Jesus, how have we not have a system to do fair and foul balls? Okay, come on, guys. There's sensors for offsides in soccer. Let's do that for the MLB. But how do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. I personally think there shouldn't be a cap in baseball, just because, number one, it makes it a little bit different. It's a different sport, but also I used also like 3 times in that sentence. It also makes the players have less power in their contracts. And we also might see some other things, like maybe the max contract being like there's a hard cap to a contract, or players will reach arbitration earlier, since they won't be reaching free agency. So they reach free agency earlier. That's what I meant. All that and more probably coming up in the CBA, but who cares? Because none of us can make an opinion on this. This is not a viewer vote. This is not a fan vote. This is purely between the players and the owners. So we'll see what they come up with in this CBA. But for right now, we got the 2026 season, and maybe a Yankee World Series. Who knows? And as for also big prediction. I just want to say it right here. I don't think the Dodgers are going to the World Series this year. I just don't. But at the end of that, I'll end it off here, and I'll see you guys next one. Peace.